Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mavis and this is Tiny Bunny. It's been a while. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff lately. School, personal stuff, you know, the usual chaos. But yeah. And then someone in the comment section is like, when are we gonna see part 2? I'm like, fine. Take a break from studying and go ahead and knock this out. Let's go ahead and get cracking. Katya or Paulina? Ooh! Oh no. Nah. I'm not getting stabbed again. I looked at Paulina. Her innocent smile didn't convince me. And even though the snowy veil enveloped more and more of the schoolyard, I could see things much more clearly. I still couldn't trust Paulina.
Прости, Полин. Кате моя помощь нужнее.
Paulina looked like she got slapped in the face. Her eyes narrowed, and the smile withered on her quivering lips.
Если ты, конечно, не против. Ты же не против, Полин?
Romka's appearance broke the awkward silence. He walked out from around the corner, his head hanging low. It seemed like losing his friend put a great weight on his shoulders, literally. Katya grabbed me by the elbow, but I paid that no mind.
Ром!
Paulina rushed toward Romka and hugged him.
Ромочка! Мне было так плохо без тебя. Ну где ты пропадал?
After a brief pause, Romka circled his back around Paulina's trembling back.
Быстро она переобулась. Не обидно, Антон?
I shook my head. Romka raised his head. The usual triumphant smirk flashed on his face, but the next moment it was gone.
Ну не реви, не люблю этого. На уроках была?
Была.
Бяша объявлялся?
Нет.
Roma spat in the snow, and only then he turned his eyes toward Katya and me.
А вы Бяшу видели?
I shook my head, surprised. We both saw that sneaker. Romka confirmed it was his friend's. It was unlikely that Biasha gifted his shoes to the serial killer of his own accord who was now wandering the village barefoot.
Ром, Бяша был в гараже.
Был и что? Мы тоже были живы-здоровы.
He didn't look of sound mind to me at all.
Я не успокоюсь, пока не выясню, что с Бяшей.
Roma pulled out a pack of posters from his coat, counted out several of them, and handed them to me.
Развесь вдоль дороги.
I couldn't even take a good look at them before Katya pulled me to the side.
Конечно, конечно. Любой каприз за ваши деньги. А если финансы поют романсы, ищи дурачков дальше.
Jesus Christ, you're harsh.
Чау, какао!
Roma turned a deaf ear to Katya's comments. He just rubbed Paulina's shoulder.
Идем, малая. Одной сейчас быть нельзя.
Идем, Ромочка. Я столько всего тебе хочу рассказать.
As they left, Romka locked his eyes with mine one last time and nodded, as if we shared some sort of secret.
И жили они долго и счастливо.
Катюш!
We looked up at a second floor window.
Вернись в класс. Придется тебе меня подождать. Работы море.
Лилия Павловна, я могу Катю проводить.
Правда? Это было бы чудесно. Но, Кать, дома и поесть нечего.
Я приготовлю, мам! Все будет хорошо!
Мои вы славные. Ну, будьте аккуратны там.
Конечно!
We went down the road. Ashen clouds covered the sky, hid the sun, painted the world around us in mold gray hues.
Еще раз прости меня. За сегодня и вообще. Ты, наверное, думал, я какая-то гадина?
Yeah, I do.
Честно, посещали такие мысли.
Ну и дурак.
Хотела же честно.
Я тогда тоже буду честной. Думаешь, я тебя задевала, потому что садистка? Да-да-да, как бы не так. Я не знала, как по-другому привлечь твое внимание.
I gave Katya a surprised look.
Вы, мальчики, такие недогадливые. Ай. Все нормально. Пойдем дальше.
На костылях, наверное, очень неудобно.
Mundane talk like that saved me from the embarrassment caused by Katya's candid words. I still had the image of us holding hands at the back of a police car in my mind.
Привыкаешь. Мама очень помогает. Ей и так одной нелегко, а тут еще я калека.
Я могу спросить,
Рискни.
твой папа...
Katya curled her lips. I entered dangerous territory. But she relaxed after a moment and replied,
Папа работал в психодиспансере. Я столько от него узнала про наших милых соседей.
She was trying to avoid the subject.
Возьми Полину. Там семейка еще та. Это же ее отец дал бешеную маму в психушку.
Харитон?
Он самый. Хотя не скажу, что без оснований. Мама о Бяше слухи распускала. Даже не слухи, а так, бред несла. Говорила, что люди в поселке одержимы бесами, что дед Харитон черт. Насемячилась с утра пораньше, вот черти и мерещится. Когда ее закрыли, Харитон стал присматривать за Бяшей. И про папашу Ромки отец рассказывал. Знал, что он проходит терапию как наркозависимый. Да-да-да. Из-за этого и лупит сынка. Не удивлюсь, если Ромка сам скоро встанет в диспансере на учет. С такой-то жизнью.
I didn't enjoy listening to other people's dark secrets. Drug addict, mentally ill women. It reminded me that darkness didn't only reside in the forest or the cobweb-ridden corners of old houses. It's often stored in people's heads too, awakening something dangerous, like demons or dormant monsters.
Что мы все о других? Расскажи о себе.
А что рассказывать? Ты и так все знаешь.
No, I don't.
Ничего я не знаю. Ты сказала, папа работал. Он уволился?
Так бывает.
Katya's gaze turned toward the mist floating in front of us.
Имеешь дело с психами и сам теряешь разум. Папка нашел себе молоденькую медсестру и слинял с ней кобель. Маме пришлось вертеться, чтобы я ни в чем не нуждалась. И преподавать, и воспитывать меня. Знаешь, как она меня любит? Если бы меня не стало, она бы, думаю, руки на себя наложила. Так что ты, считай, двоих спас.
My mind drew a distinct scene. The kids are waiting for class to start, but instead of their teacher, the principal enters the classroom. He says that today's literature class was canceled. Oh. Lilia Pavlovna is dead. She hanged herself. That imaginary scene scalded my heart and returned me to that tragic day. Katya in the meat grinder's bowl bowed in her mutilated toes. I blinked to fight that delusion, and then asked cautiously.
Ты помнишь, как тебя похитили?
Katya gulped. I chastised myself for talking too much. That was the worst possible question.
В общих чертах. Он подошел сзади, схватил и я, наверное, потеряла сознание.
That story sounded so familiar.
Потому что как иначе это объяснить? У него было твое лицо, Антон, а потом как взмыл небо. Да-да-да. И дальше такая чертовщина началась. Бррр. И я поняла, что это всего лишь кошмар. Потом, когда очнулась, смотрю, он тащит меня по снегу. Я кошелек хвать, бросила его на дорогу. Надеялась, кто-то найдет и...
Katya stopped near the only 2 apartment buildings in the village and turned away from me.
Кать,
She was crying.
Что, Кать? Я 12 лет, Кать.
ну не надо, все позади.
А ты знаешь, чего я больше всего испугалась в мясорубке этой? Что умру и не признаюсь тебе.
I think you meant to say die.
В чем?
Katya suddenly turned around, and I saw how red her face was.
Какой ты кретин, Антон Петров! В том, что ты мне нравишься.
I was taken aback. But then I heard my own words as if they were spoken from some faraway place.
Ты мне тоже,
Честно?
честно.
I wiped the tears off her brightening face.
Конечно, нравишься. По-моему, это очевидно.
Все вам, парням, очевидно. А девушки хотят слышать. Мы ушами любим, знаешь такое?
I didn't know a lot of things. Katya's tears glistened. The snow showered the crossroads that presented me with meaningful choices, with different lives. I felt like that moment was special and that I needed to engrave it in our memories.
Разрешишь тебя нарисовать?
Katya smiled and wiped away her tears.
Только не зареванный.
По рукам.
She looked at the concrete building.
Здесь я живу.
Круто. Ты в этом отличилась от всех.
Родителям выдали квартиру. Учитель и врач – важные люди в поселке. Комфорт с видом на мусорную площадку.
I'd choose a trash heap over the forest surrounding our house any day.
Жаль, нет лифта, мучусь с костылями. Не просто добираться на 3-й этаж.
Ты позволишь?
Mom told me how one day, during a date with her future husband, my dad, she twisted her ankle. And Dad carried her through 2 blocks in his hands. That was the moment when she decided to be together with that man.
Окончательно спятил! Придурок, я ж тяжелая!
Как пушинка.
Смотри, лапы-то свои не распускай. А то маме расскажу.
I took her in my hands and carried her toward her apartment. A female caretaker, munching on a gozinaki, walked towards us. Her flowery face melted in a smile.
Вот так вот. Картина маслом, как в сериале бразильском. Ну, молодец, мальчуган, как несет-то, а? Люди добрые, поглядите. А говорят, американское кино молодежь попортила. Есть еще добрые молодцы.
I mumbled something awkwardly. Katya turned red as a beet. She was light, but I started staggering from side to side on the stairs. The crutch she held would hit the railings from time to time with a clanging sound. Katya giggled, embarrassed. She looked like she was trying to carve every little moment of that ascent into her memory. And I tried my best to keep myself from hunting and keep my back straight. Hunching? Encouraging shouts pushed me in the back.
Настоящий кавалер! Женись на нем, Катька, как подрастешь!
Katya burst out laughing.
Обязательно!
I carefully placed Katya on the concrete floor near her apartment's door. She opened it, glancing at me over her shoulder and biting her lower lip.
Спасибо, силач. Проходи, я пока перебинтую ногу. Пришлось научиться самой.
She disappeared behind the bathroom door, and I entered her tidy room. The blizzard that whistled its tune outside made the warm bedroom feel even comfier. I remembered the apartment we used to live back in the city. It always had the smell of pastry and the music of my parents' laughter. Still, I felt equally safe here. Katya stood on tiptoes, with her other hand gracefully pulled back and stripes wavering above her hand, so she used to be a dancer. Her movements looked so graceful and smooth. Why do I feel so sad looking at this photo? Because she'll never dance again. I got so lost in thought that I didn't even hear the rubber tips of the crutches thumping on the floor. I saw Katya reflected in the frame and turned around. She gave the room's interior a look over and sighed.
До сих пор не верю, что все это позади. Мама всю жизнь грезила о спортивной карьере и вбила себе в голову, что я обязана воплотить ее мечту.
Мне так жаль. Все эти медали, фотки. Как ты будешь жить без гимнастики?
Уж точно не пойду в паралимпийскую сборную.
Katya smiled all of a sudden.
Антон, меня тошнило от гимнастики. Стань так, стань эдак. Что за чушь? Единственная хорошая вещь, которая случилась за последнее время, я не обязана больше мотаться по соревнованиям. Да-да-да. Теперь я делаю то, что мне вздумается. Кто пуп земли? Катя пуп земли.
She burst out laughing, as if the show was all a joke. There was always a grain of truth in any joke.
Что-то я не замечал, чтобы тебя в чем-то ограничивали.
Это что? Критика? Ты считаешь...
Katya playfully raised her crutch.
Поговори мне тут, Петров. И вообще, хватит прохлаждаться. Ты поможешь мне с ужином или как?
Попытаюсь.
Katya led me to the kitchen, opened the drawer, and froze in place, peering inside with caution.
Что там, мыши завелись?
She shook her head, anxious.
Достань, пожалуйста.
Oh, sorry. I approached her and looked into the drawer. At the meat grinder, lurking among the kitchen wares.
Конечно.
I took it out, feeling as if a cube of ice was lodged under my heart. I squirmed when I saw the blade screwed to the rollers inside its bowls. Inside its bowl. Sorry. Alright, let's go. I told myself that the old cast iron thing had nothing in common with the industrial behemoth from the garage. Katya went all silent, watching me, pale as a ghost.
Не могу заставить себя крутить фарш. Плохо становится.
Предоставь это мне.
While I was mounting the meat grinder to the table, Katya jingled with the dishes and slammed the refrigerator doors. She put out meat, onions, and breadcrumbs. Reanimated, she cut the vegetables for the salad. I threw the ingredients into the meat grinder and got to work.
Береги пальчики.
The grooved rod spun, following the handle, pushing the bits of pork into the blades. The finished mincemeat squeezed through the grate.
Тщательнее перемалывай мясо. Не бойся, эта мясорубка никогда не сломается.
I winced after remembering the blades covered in human blood. I remembered Katya's toe swinging on a piece of skin. I sneaked a pill onto my tongue and chewed on it. The medication calmed me down. The fear retreated to its dark lair.
Мы с тобой как странная семейка.
I was getting worried for a second. I was like, oh, please.
Дорогой, что на ужин?
I played along.
Котлетки, дорогая.
Я ела бы их 3 раза в день, дорогой.
У меня для тебя хорошая новость. Котлеток хватит до следующей зимы.
As we fooled around, our anxiousness faded along with nauseating delusions.
Антон!
Wait, no, I don't want to play the game!
Ты посмотри, как подрумянилась корочка.
Fuck! Why are you having me play this game, bro? What are you doing?
Запах такой, что сейчас
I hate
даже
it when it does
соседи
that.
придут.
Oh god. Please don't have me fail this game.
Первый раз так хорошо получается.
I knew it was gonna be a fucking cooking minigame.
Почти как в ресторане, скажи. Выходит, не хуже, чем у мамы.
Yo, please don't go any faster.
Если это так же хорошо на вкус, как выглядит, придется выйти за тебя замуж.
Katya took in the appetizing aroma.
Слюнки текут. Но такого жениха любая с руками оторвет.
Katya stumbled and swayed over the stove. I had to hold her by the waist to keep her balance. My face reddened the next moment when I realized how bold that move was.
Нет, руки отрывать не будем. Ты меня крепче держи, пока я дегустирую. Наконец-то то, о чем я мечтала, убивая себя тренировками. Можно лопать вкусняшки и не думать о дурацких диетах. Жареная картошечка с котлетками да на масле. Хочешь кусочек?
Katya held out a cutlet stuck on a fork and flashed me an alluring smile. Before I could even notice, I was already eating off her hands, smiling like a fool. The cutlets were wonderful, fluffy and soft. When the dishes were empty, I asked,
Добавки? Кать, все хорошо?
She was silent, her fingers massaging her temple.
Не надо было тебе перетруждаться.
Просто немного...
She breathed in through clenched teeth.
Голова кружится. Можешь проверить, у меня нет температуры?
I reached out with my hands.
Нет. Попробуй лоб губами. Мама так всегда делает.
Oh my god. I had them play. It stopped recording! Oh, cool. That wrong thing. Oh, I got confused. Wrong recording software. Holy cow. I had the unpleasant feeling that Katya was toying with me again.
А градусника у тебя нет? Ну ладно.
I leaned in and gave Katya's forehead a quick peck.
Вроде не горячий.
Доведи до постели, пожалуйста.
Oh god. I helped Katya get to the bedroom, and she quickly crawled under the blanket.
Полежи со мной.
Bruh. I was embarrassed beyond what I could handle.
Это как-то чересчур.
Чересчур составить подружке компанию? Мама скоро вернется и заменит тебя. Полежи, пока я не усну.
She looked at me with pleading eyes. I nodded and joined her. Katya stretched and turned off the night lamp. Oh no. We lay in the darkness, listening to the howling wind. Katya's fingers slid across my hand, our pinkies intertwined. We didn't need words, but Katya still opened her mouth.
Ты мне правда очень, очень нравишься. Скажи, если это взаимно.
I licked my parched lips. I heard a voice coming from the corner. I turned around, incredulous. There was a kid's silhouette lurking in the darkness. A tiny ghost that came for my soul.
Кать,
Да,
там кто-то есть.
это лишь тень от моих наград, глупый.
I turned away from the silhouette and my pinky finger squeezed Katya's even harder.
Кать, я хочу признаться.
Я не нравлюсь тебе?
Дело не в этом. Иногда у меня бывают галлюцинации. Доктор говорит, я вырасту, и это пройдет. Я принимаю лекарства.
Ты меня этим не напугаешь. Забыл? Мой так называемый папашка – психиатр. Выпей таблетку, и все будет нормально. Да-да-да.
I took the pills out of my pocket. Oh my god, what do I do? Oh, you guys are messing with me. I'm gonna take my pills. I chewed on the pill and shut my eyes, listening to the noisy blizzard and Katya's breathing, but not the crying of an imaginary child. I felt hot. Katya touched my forehead with her lips and then carefully rubbed my cheek with her hand.
Спи, тебе станет лучше.
I let the warm waves carry me.
Засыпай. Мама позвонит твоим родителям.
I fell into the void.
Спи. Я с тобой. Спи.
Оставайся здесь навсегда. Украдут нас с тобой во снах ускользающие ветра. Исчезают со снегом, пусть не прожитые впрок года.
That's the ending? Coma escapee. The sixth grader who had fallen into a coma after taking the medicine prescribed to him by a psychiatrist had recently gone missing. We received this information from the chief medical officer of the regional hospital. The emergency response team had been trying to resuscitate the boy, but to no avail. However, on the 25th of February at 3 p.m., he woke by himself and sneaked away from the hospital grounds. On the evening of the same day, his sister, Olya Petrova, also went missing. We urge anyone who has information about the missing kids' whereabouts to contact the police and their parents at these phone numbers. What? Pause. The endless forest at the end of all worlds. The wind, singing in songs of eternal hunger to the children of darkness. The pack was anticipating its feast. We were about to dine. The festival of meat and bones was about to start.
Как долго ты нес угощение, зайчик? Добро пожаловать. Мы рады тебе.
The axe and the sack, leaking red juice that I held in my hand. I was finally home. Oh my god, what?
Я и так принял их слишком много. Хватит. Не хочу умереть от передозировки. Кать?
I heard stifled cries coming from my side.
Катюш, что случилось?
Something smacked silently in the pitch dark room. The sound of a band-aid being torn off. I felt one of my socks quickly soaking in some sticky liquid. My shaking hand felt around, searching for the light switch. The night lamp flared up. Red spots were spreading across the blanket. I backed away to the wall.
Кать, у тебя рана открылась.
In a panic, I threw off the blanket. I was ready to see bandages soaked with blood, but I wasn't ready to see what was really happening. Katya's leg was missing up to her knee. Fat, dirty rats writhed in the scarlet pool. They devoured Katya. Their greedy mugs burrowed in the bubbling meat of the leg stump. The biggest rat was trying to suck out the marrow from a white shard among the mess. Katya squealed. Katya suddenly sat up, her pale face directed at me. Veins bulged under her skin, her eyes rolled over. She growled as she crumpled the bed sheets. Katya twitched and I realized what was happening. Her body was sinking between the sofa's two halves. I heard a roaring motor roaring somewhere in the sheets compartment deep inside the sofa. Hatred and pain disfigured Katya's face, making it unrecognizable. Sofa's flaps lifted, its legs tore off the floor.
Никто тебя не ждет! Ты слабый и гадкий! Ты никому не нужен!
Thick black blood flowed out of Katya's mouth along with the words. Katya was descending into the meat grinder, dangling like a cloth doll. I heard the cracking of the bones and the stifled cries of a child. The sofa devoured Katya up to her waist. She floundered, spewing blood and curses.
Не отворачивайся! Смотри, что ты наделал!
A fountain of blood hit the ceiling and in my face. The furniture melted, upholstering peeled off the sofa, bearing its cast iron sides. Metal walls peeked from under the wallpaper. The bedroom was turning into the black garage. I didn't escape it. I will never be able to leave it. The meat grinder completely devoured Katya. Minced meat flooded the tray underneath it. A torn-off face floated up from the bloody soup. Its white lips twitched. Katya's remains talked to me.
Я причем? Ни в одной из вселенных ты не сможешь меня спасти! Ничтожество!
I screamed and ran from that nightmare. The wind howled into the open doors. The giant with a huge head, adorned with long ears, awaited me at the doorstep. His scowl reminded me of a pus-oozing scar. The monster's cold hands fell on my shoulders. Its claws pierced my muscles. The tore me off the ground and shoved me headfirst into the funnel.
Тщательнее перемалывай мясо! Не бойся! Это мясорубка! Никогда не сломается!
My hands were outstretched, so they ended up between the blades first. My wrists fell into the tray. Next moment, the blades cut off my arms up to the elbows. Blood gushed out of the stumps. The blade drew closer. I felt the steel eating into my face. The last sounds I heard were Oya's deafening scream. I whizzed and opened my eyes. Oya's scream stopped, but it still echoed inside my skull. The pain was gone. The disgusting bunny, the blades, the blood, all of that disappeared. I was transported from the black garage to my hallway. Was all that just a dream? Then moved my intact hands. Not only the garage, but also the last month, and the wounded Katya, and the escape from the serial killer. Was all of that a product of my delusional brain? Oya was still with me on the floor, but not where I left her. She was now lying on my chest. As if while I was out of it, she woke up and tried to save me. By calling out to me. By getting me out of the clutches of horror with her scream. And then she lost consciousness again. I leaned in and slid my fingers across her warm cheek. The blizzard crashed at the windows. The clocks ticked loudly. Black figures moved toward the house, shrouded by darkness. They were hungry. They still waited for their treat. I needed help, so I ran into the hallway, slipping and sliding. I clutched the phone. The speaker was silent at first, then barely audible beeps came through. I imagined a post swaying in the wind, the wires ringing as they were about to be snapped in half by hungry jaws. My fingers spun the dial.
Алло! Рома! Рома, это я! Алло!
You couldn't hear me. I shouted in desperation.
Рома!
I got frequent beeps in reply. An anxious rustle arose, as if the house was thrown into the forest, and its piney paws felt around the interior, trying to find a way to open the meat lockbox. I dialed Paulina's number. The phone vibrated with beeps as short as my breath. The note with Tikhonov's number that I hit earlier came in handy. The dial creaked, measuring the numbers. I twirled the cord around my hand and prayed that the policeman was at his station.
Старший лейтенант Тихонов слушает.
His voice battled its way to me through nature's wrath. It flowed down the icy wires.
Это Антон! Антон Петров!
Парнишка из дома у леса? Ага, помню такого.
Товарищ милиционер, мои родители пропали. Вы обязаны приехать и забрать меня с сестрой в участок. Нам угрожает опасность.
Успокойся, пацан. Мама с папой скоро вернутся. Небось застряли из-за метели этой.
Но я видел!
How Katya was grounded up by giant blades.
Видел что?
Чудовищ в звериных масках! Приезжайте, умоляю вас!
A long pause followed.
У тебя богатая фантазия, приятель.
No, you gotta believe him, bro! What the fuck?
Тебе сколько? 12? Вот взрослый мужик уже. Можешь ведь позаботиться и о себе, и о сестренке. Запри дверь, никому не открывай. И жди родителей.
Но, лейтенант!
There was a tinge of annoyance in Tikhonov's voice as he replied.
Напоминаю, по поселку шляется особо опасный преступник. А у меня 2 сотрудника еле на ногах держатся. Не могу я к каждому пугливому школьнику ездить на ложный вызов. Разве нормально в твоем возрасте бояться темноты?
I turned red up to my hair roots.
Это не просто темнота!
I wasn't heard.
Ты понимаешь, что от моей работы зависят жизни похищенных детей?
The blood pulsating in my temples stunned me, made me blind. A scarlet flash of hysteria lighted up in my brain. Convince him or die. I went all in, fully aware that my and Oya's lives were at stake here.
Помните, вы рассказывали о своем племяннике, который хотел пойти в школу милиции и помогать людям?
Помню. А еще я помню, как просил тебя не совать нос куда не следует.
Мне хотелось помочь вам в поимке преступника, но теперь... Кажется, я знаю, что случилось с пропавшими детьми.
I was afraid that the lieutenant wouldn't let me finish, but he just remained silent in anticipation. The wind pulled at the wires.
Сенечка, Вова, Семен, Катя. Они все мертвы.
Откуда такая уверенность? У тебя есть чем подтвердить свои слова?
Первой была Сенечка, так?
Come on,
У меня
Anton.
есть запись на видеокассете. Не знаю, что за передача и что за канал, но там репортаж о ней. И о монстре, названном хозяином леса.
Не может быть. Это передача.
When it seemed like the pause was unnecessarily long, the lieutenant finally spoke up.
Я тоже ее видел. У меня тогда был сложный период. Ребенок этот пропал. У самих ни единой зацепки. Еще начальство вконец озверело. Вот я и пил, не просыхая. А когда ночью поймал сигнал с той чертовой передачей про Сеню, думал, белая горячка пожаловала. Сука, я даже в область катался телевизионщиков пытать. Они мне отворот-поворот, мол, не было такого в эфире. А ты говоришь, ее записал?
Даже больше. В лесу, где заблудился Вова, я нашел варежку. И я клянусь вам, она кровоточила, пока я не принес ее домой.
Ряд добровольцев из поисковых команд давали такие же показания. Мы тогда подумали, что у них помешательство, и отстранили от поисков. Но ведь я сам осматривал найденные вещи, и крови на них не было. Черт-те что. Говоришь, варежка у тебя?
Да, и печатка Семена.
Так вот, куда она делась. Ты осознаешь, Антон, что похитил улику?
Так приезжайте и арестуйте меня!
My voice rang out.
И это еще не все. У меня хранится фотография с останками Кати. 4-й жертвы этих тварей. Поймите, наконец, спасти детей вам уже не удастся. Они все мертвы, мертвы! Хотите, чтобы мы с сестрой пополнили список?
I noticed that I was shouting. Sweat appeared on my forehead. I only got hissing as a reply.
Алло! Алло!
He cut the wires. Fuck. In the kitchen, the fridge grumbled as it turned off. The lights went out, flinging me into complete darkness. But it only lasted for a moment. Only it seemed like the peculiar phantoms in my hallway that pretended to be shadows from our furniture creeped closer.
Мертвые к мертвому. Живое к живому.
I started whispering the useless chant, but stopped midway. Nature wailed on the other side of the door barrier. Whoever was walking toward the house, squeaking with the snow, wasn't my parents. They wouldn't crawl on our roof, scratching it with their claws. They wouldn't look into our kitchen windows. We need to barricade ourselves before it's too late. I chopped up the cabinet with an axe to acquire some building material. Zolka circled around my legs, following all my actions with curiosity. Metal nails dug into the wood. I slammed their heads with the axe's butt. I nailed the planks to the window frame, shielding the house from the horror creeping in the blizzard. Another window was barricaded with pieces of furniture. I pulled at them to check for integrity. I wandered around the house that seemed frighteningly big now and suffocated on the thought that I'll stumble into a scowling monster as I turned another corner. I would go to the kitchen, but end up in the black garage pretending to be in it. Frosty wrens scratched at the door. Something evil flashed in the gaps between the planks. I sat on the stairs and fixed my gaze on the front door. With an axe on my lap, with a heart beating so hard it could be used to hammer in nails, I sat and stared, my whole body shivering. I sat and stared, losing the last vestiges of my sanity. I sat and fell into slumber. I jumped up as if something bit me. My sleepiness was washed away by the incessant ringing of the doorbell. Tikhonov couldn't have arrived so fast. Did Dad return with the doctor? Or was it Mom, carrying bags of medicine? Or maybe the hungry pack of animals showed up to dine. I sneaked around the hallway. The planks under my feet squeaked, giving me away.
Кто там?
Silence. Or did somebody answer me, but was silenced by the blizzard? I pressed my face against the peephole, but it was shaded with rime. There was only blurry, barely discernible silhouettes on the porch. Were they wearing masks? Maybe not. I had an equal chance of getting help from these night guests or being torn to pieces right in the hallway. Zoko trotted to my side from the kitchen and snarled at the door. It was angrily clawing at the door. Woo-hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let me see. Whoa. This is so bad. I had to use the restroom real quick. Fuck. Oh my god. I'm gonna lose. He's not happy. Oh, I'm gonna listen to the dog. I backed away into the corridor and into the embrace of shadows. Knock, knock. Somebody's knuckles knocked on wood, insisting on being let in. No way. Wherever it is, they're not welcome here. Mom and Dad had their own keys to the house, and that meant that the unexpected visitor clearly carried a threat. They knew we were home alone. The porch creaked. The guests clearly changed their mind and left, disappearing in the blizzard. Suddenly, the lights went out. Darkness splashed from all nooks and crannies. The blizzard's moans intensified. I blinked like crazy, clutching the handrails. The sounds of the flute enveloped the house, streaming through the cracks in the decrepit walls. Somebody started pounding on the door. I backed into the wall from surprise. A hail of strikes was unleashed on the door, bending it like a thin sheet of plywood. As if dozens of fists and legs were simultaneously punching and kicking the wood.
Это они!
The door danced in the doorway. Dust flew from the what the plant bands? The rumbling noise stopped as suddenly as it started. I rushed to the kitchen. I heard a heart-rending squeaking sound, as if someone was driving their claws in the walls. Then the flapping wings. The night turned like a giant stomach. And then they hatched from the shadows, casting bugs in the gaps between the boards. They pressed against the windows, leaving pushed and squished maggots on the glass. Crooked fingers scraped against the glass. Bared fangs scratched away the rime. Lines of teeth bared themselves in the gaps, taunting me. Eyes shone from left and right. Dead beasts stared at us from the outside and smirked.
Полежись, маме! Соненька! Полежи в голове, ужасный дурачок! Дай нам отдохнуть в твоих горячих кишках! Горячих кишках! Утоли наш голод!
Their eyes shone like stars in the pitch black skies. Glass popped in the kitchen. The invading wind played with our hair. It brought a flute melody, quick and slippery like a poisonous viper. The monsters thrust their claws into the gap between the planks, clicked with their claws, demanding their treats. A huge, deformed hand held out a bunny mask, full of burrows from worms, to no one in particular. I plugged my ears with my fingers. The nasty voices subsided, only to be replaced by another sneering voice.
Антон, ты должен, ты обязан кормить. Или сам стать мясом. Твоя очередь. Посмотри на меня.
I shifted my gaze to the axe. The blade reflected my twisted face. I couldn't recognize myself.
Да, вот так.
The voice pleaded sweetly.
Выбирай тщательнее. Не дай себя убить.
Right in front of me, illuminated by the moonlight on blade-sharp claws, was a silvery bunny mask.
Наше настоящее лицо. Оно поможет отомстить нам тем, кто бил и унижал нас. Поможет стать настоящим собой.
My little sister snored innocently as she slept on the floor as if nothing was happening around her.
Никто меня не видит. Значит, самое время выбрать жертву.
Why are you making me choose? What the fuck? What is this choice? I choose Oya. The next moment, Oya started mumbling to herself. The beast went silent, but their claws still scraped at their boards ever so slightly.
Это должно быть вкусно.
Скорее, она ничего не почувствует.
Fuck no! The axe fell to the floor, and my hand instinctively reached for the mask. What? I accepted it. No! This is so bad! What is going on? The next moment, Oya started mumbling to herself. The beast went silent, but their claws still scraped at the boards ever so slightly.
Это должно быть вкусно.
Скорее, она ничего не почувствует.
I took a step toward my sister. No! The axe, hidden in the shadows, froze in the air over my victim. I remembered how I brought baby Oya to the window and how a sunny halo glowed around her head. I can't. No! My muscles turned to stone. Something foreign writhed in my skull, incinerating my memories. Now I had a slice of juicy meat in my hand in place of Oya, with the same beautiful halo around it. Saliva dripped down my chin.
И не будет больно. Иначе нельзя. Так все устроено. Твой черед кормить.
The axe descended. Oya opened her. Oh, fuck no, dude! The axe fell to the floor and my hand instinctively reached for the mask. Oh no. I accepted it, ran my fingers through my hair, and put it on, in a triumphant manner for some reason. My face, my protection. And then the fear receded. I left my body as if it were a foreign organism that writhed inside under my flimsy ribcage. It will all be over soon. Peace and quiet will come. I looked at my sister, who was still sleeping innocently on the floor. The only regret I had was not being able to see her when she grows up, when she will finally be able to achieve our dream of going to Disneyland. The paws retreated from the cracks between the boards, crawled away. The beasts were waiting. They must be fed. Farewell, I thought. Farewell, violin girl. Farewell, my friend. I was already in the hallway when Oya called out through her sleep. I didn't stop. Instead, I grabbed the door handle. I pushed the door and stepped into the snowstorm. When I woke up, I heard the joyous and evil howls of the blizzard. Then I walked up to the door, opened it, and saw my big brother in the darkness. He stood still. The snowstorm was nothing for him. A single heavy tear fell off my lashes. Black shadows dashed around Anton, only to pounce on him from every direction a moment later. Surprisingly, he didn't scream. Even I wailed from terror, he just endured it until he bit on his tongue. He probably did that to avoid waking me up. But the pain was stronger. It still managed to squeeze a yelp out of him. The beasts were devouring my Anton. They pounced, crushed, tore apart, poured their claws into his chest, with their two small pouches that immediately froze over in the wind. And then the scream was gone, suffocated by the blizzard, as if a wounded bird fell into the snow and found its ultimate relief. Where's my boy? Child missing, left his home and hadn't returned. A local family is looking for Anton Petrov, a middle school student. Identifying features: around 150 centimeters tall, skinny, light hair. He was wearing a gray jacket, dark trousers, and a woven winter hat with sport written on it. Wears round glasses. We urge anyone who has information about Anton's whereabouts to contact our editorial department. What the fuck?
Ветер уносит последний.
Ольга, ты уснула?
I unglued myself from the window and sneakily wiped my moist eyes. Mom was helping Anya take off her shoes in the hallway.
Захлопоталась у плиты.
My elder daughter minced her way toward the bathroom. Such a big girl, almost as old as I was when we moved to the village.
А маму поцеловать?
Сейчас, мамуль! У меня сюрприз для тебя!
Mom entered the kitchen, took the shawl off her silvered hair. After Dad died back in 2010, her hair went white super fast, but even wrinkles couldn't deprive her of her usual regal beauty. She often visited us in the city nowadays, in our big, bright 3-room apartment.
Ох, метет.
И как ты в деревне своей через лес ходишь по такой погоде?
Привыкла уже. Вот недавно Тихонова встретили по пути, он сумки донес. Помнишь его?
An image of a strict policeman floated up in my mind. His strong hands carried me out of the house on that unfortunate night.
Как он?
Да, старый пень. Зимней рыбалкой пенсию коротает. Да бездомных собак подкармливает, окаянный, спасу от них нет.
А как садик?
Утренник хороший был. Аня довольна. Вы-то тут как? Где муж?
Так он в смену сегодня. Зато на празднике дома. Антона еле уложила.
Опять бессонничает.
Мечется во сне. Кошмары, что ли, снятся?
Младенцы кошмаров не видят. Это колики все.
Что в сумках?
По списку. Мясо для холодца, соленые огурцы на винегрет, конфеты.
Шампанское завтра куплю. И к празднику готовы.
The kettle started whistling on the stove. A aroma of food wafted across the kitchen. I was stirring the stew. I looked into the hallway. A fox girl stood there. The spoon fell out of my hand.
Мам, а я лисичка!
I gulped and forced out a smile. Oh no. The kid mask was an ordinary piece of plastic with a nose and whiskers painted on.
Иди ко мне, солнышко.
Anya came over without a word.
А как же мне тебя целовать в маске-то?
А вот так!
I smooched the cool plastic, and it indistinctively wiped my lips with my forearm.
Лучше сними.
Ну я же лисичка!
Mom watched her granddaughter as if remembering some distant memory. The lightest of smiles flashed on her weathered face.
Снимай, кому говорю. Кушать будем.
Little Anton cried in the next room.
Ну вот, разбудила братика.
Иди, я поставлю на стол.
Anya the fox danced around Mom. I went into the hallway and heard the conversation behind me.
Бабуль, а давай в прятки играть?
Кто водит?
Ты!
косточки. Ну давай. Раз, два, три, лети, сова.
Oh shit, I shuddered. Goosebumps crawled up my spine.
3, 4, 5. Время поиграть.
I shut my eyes, fighting back the sudden fit of migraine.
6, 6, 6.
Дыбом волчья шерсть.
I felt like I was looking at the horrific feast of beast cubs through the gaps between the boards. My parents told me that Anton was at fault there. He didn't listen to them, went outside and got lost in the snowstorm. But I knew. Somewhere far away in the village, a certain house squeaked in sorrow. It didn't change even after all those years. The web of shadows in the corners, the rustling attic, and an eternal palisade of the taiga outside. Internet connection and cell phone coverage were both unstable there, unlike the fog. I stepped into the kids' room. Little Anton, named after his late uncle, moaned in his crib. I felt milk rush to my nipples, followed by a feeling of oppressive anxiousness. Hungry beasts were dancing in a circle in front of my eyes. We dance, they said. We always dance and are always hungry. I got close to the crib and looked inside. My son waved his tiny fist in the air. There was an old, mold-eaten mask on his chest. I gazed into the empty cavities of its eye holes. Darkness itself stared back at me. Jeez, man. Jesus Christ. I don't even know how to feel about either of those endings, bro. Like, what the hell?